The place is bustling with movers, carrying furnishings here and there, along with several trunks of personal belongings taken from our penthouse. Luke watches them like a hawk, making sure nothing is handled carelessly or gets stolen.
Careful now. I know your pictures are framed by cheap plastic, but those are framed by African blackwood and are one-of-a-kind commissioned paintings. Each one is easily worth a lifetime of what you lot make.
Luke, do the dishwashers go into the kitchen or the butler's pantry?
Pantry, Buttercup. Careful, that's Emma. No, you there, put that down. You do not manhandle a Napoleon Abueva.
I can see the exasperation, and I have to send the foreman an apologetic glance. Even Johans rolls his eyes as he goes by. Considering Luke is always like this during the project, Johans and I have gotten used to it. Poor Marianne, on the other hand, looks a bit stressed at seeing the gigantic mess, before quickly going back to work. Everything just has to be perfect, exactly the way he wants it. One little thing out of place, one little thing that didn't fit the image he clearly constructed in his head, and Luke gets bent out of shape.
Sweetie, why don't we go and sort your suits upstairs? Let Johans and Marianne and the foreman deal with the rest of the work.
We have this, Mrs. Wright.
Excellent.
Yes, please do go before a blood vessel bursts. Bloodstains are so troublesome to clean.
You would know, because you are actually a hitman, Johans. Taking him by the hand, I lead him upstairs into our bedroom. This place has been arranged first so we can get some rest, no matter what state the rest of the mansion's in. I'm definitely glad I can just lie down on a soft, comfy bed after what's been a busy morning. Watching Luke act like his life depended on getting this move done is tiring all on its own. And to think I have the whole day of this ahead of me. I feel the bed dip beside me as Luke sits down with a sigh.
Well, I can't wait for this to be over.
I don't know. It's fun seeing you all fired up. Here at home and not at work, you know.
You know I can't always be home, Hannah. I have a company to run, unless you've forgotten.
Nah.
I haven't forgotten. You're the one who insists on being there to make sure each and every little thing is under control. I just really miss you sometimes, and I wish you were at home more often. Why, if you're not careful, I might go a bit loopy and I'll start bringing cats home. And soon enough, one day you'll find yourself going home to a farm just filled with felines that follow you everywhere.
Oh, don't bluff. The things would shred up your precious furniture. Besides, you don't even like cats.
It's a joke, my dude.
True. Dogs are infinitely superior, of course.
Best girl.
But what about the wet dog smell? The mess. I'm not cleaning up after a mutt, no matter how cute. If you think about it, a cat would be better.
We laugh. It's not always that we can just lie down and talk about these sorts of things. Joke around as if we're teenagers again, with very little problem in the way of responsibilities and roles. To hear his genuine, honest, and to goodness laughter is a rarity. This is just the second time as of late, and I can only see it as signs of good things to come.
All good points. I guess we could just have kids. That is, if you prefer dealing with soiled nappies and sick as opposed to dead birds, mice, and litter boxes. I've already told Marianne about turning the second bedroom into a children's room.
I guess sometimes I don't know when I'm crossing a line. I didn't say that I'm a good comedian, did I?
Not this again.
What? I wasn't being serious.
It's not something you take the piss out of. Having a kid is a big responsibility, Hannah. We've talked about this, haven't we? I'm not ready to be a parent. I'd probably end up killing the little brat by the week's end.
Well, at least she admits he's not ready. What should I say? I don't think we should apologize. I think we should say... Because honestly, I think he does care about things, but he just gets a little bent out of shape about it. But, you know what? I think he would be a good dad, honestly.
Carly likes you well enough.
The mention of our good little goddaughter The mention of our little goddaughter places a conflicted look on his face. Sometimes it is cute when he denies having a soft spot for a little girl. But then sometimes it's sad and makes me wonder what happened to him to think so poorly of himself in this regard.
Yes, well, it's Kylie. The tyke likes everybody and, on the off chance she doesn't, likes them well enough as long as they buy her sweets. And sure, that kid is great. But if I get tired of her, I can ship her back to her father at the end of the day. Having kids of our own will be a whole different monster entirely.
I've never heard him talk about his father in anything but a business context. I recall Damien Wright. Kept hearing about him from my own father, even before I met Luke. The business world praised him for running a tight ship, all until one mistake led to a great loss for the Enterprise. It was then that news of Luke Wright, prodigy son and successor to the old man, started to show up, and he aided in his recovery and growth up until the Great Recession. I'm getting a bit off track. Regardless, I've never heard him talk about his father like one would talk about family. And he does like me.
I think you'll be a great father.
There is a smile, no matter how half-hearted it may be. I really do think that. He might not be a good, honest man, part of me knows that, though I try to silence it. But I know Luke well enough that he'll be a better father than either Damien Wright or Henry Evans. I love my father, but he never had the time.
If it is any consolation, I think you'd be a decent mother.
On the other hand, I've never heard of his mother. A silence settles, both comfortable and uncomfortable. There is familiarity in each other's company, despite the awkwardness that transpired. Defenses and masks down, without anyone else looking, we're both together and alone in this quiet. But a crash from downstairs startles both of us out of our reverie. Luke lets out a heavy sigh before coming to his feet and straightening his jacket.
I'll have to attend to that then.
Be good, darling. And watch out for your blood pressure.
He gives me a kiss on the cheek before leaving, while I lay there in a daze. Alone, as per the usual. I really should be used to it by now. I can feel the minutes tick by with me just laying there, feeling miserable and full of self-pity. I've rolled over to lie on my stomach at this point with my face buried in the pillows when there's a knock at the door. Grumbling at them to go away doesn't work as a voice comes from the other side.
Madam, the photographer from Luxury Living is here.
Wait, is that today? Oh, yes. People had caught wind of our new mansion the very moment we left the open house. Luke had boasted he could acquire the property in no time and allowed a photo shoot for an interior design magazine to be scheduled today. Well, there were complications and it took longer than it usually does for us.
In a minute, Hansi.
Johannes, if you could at least make it through the end.
Johans, you are the best character in this. You better live, Johans. You better live.
Tell them I'll be right down, Hansi.
The mansion grounds has been one of the first things to be fixed up, aside from the bedroom. Although it's still a work in progress, it had a promising start, and I can already see the flower patches. Luke's favored daffodils stands out easily, having been transplanted from the pots that used to live at the rooftop of our penthouse. Why, if the moving crew thought that Luke was being hard on them, they clearly didn't see the landscaper on his way out. The man looked like he was ready to faint, and Luke seemed ready to kill him by the end of the discussion. It is in the gardens that I see him standing near the flowers in quiet admiration. He's hard to miss, the hulk of the man that clearly did not belong, and the big backpack and suitcase he had with him makes him look much larger. It's a peculiar sight, seeing someone who looks like he does, handling little delicate things with such care. He looks up from the gardens and takes a double take before a friendly face replaces his serene expression.
Miss Wright, yeah? Hi, Zachary Steele here from Luxury Living, ma'am.
Zachary!
Hope you weren't waiting too long. But it looks like you're still moving in, huh? Thought for a second there my calendar was wrong and I came here too early.
The one and only. Welcome to Maison de Right. And yes, we've been in the process of moving in as we were delayed, but it won't be a problem. They're just adding a few things here and there, and you should still be able to do your work. Where's the rest of your crew then, Mr. Steele?
Zach is fine, please. Mr. Steele makes me feel like I'm a mascot for a cleaning product. Anyway, I'll be your one-man crew for today. Don't worry, been doing this gig for a while now.
You must be quite the veteran to handle this on your own.
Indeed.
We've had a full crew coming into our penthouse the last time we were covered in your magazine.
Veteran? Oh, your words are too kind, Miss Wright.
Hannah, if I get to call you Zach, you have my permission to call me Hannah.
Hannah is such a cool person.
Alrighty then. Anyway, I'm no veteran, but I know my camera well enough to make sure this is a good shoot. You can trust me on that, Miss Wright. Hannah.
That's my boy. Zachary proves quickly enough that I can, in fact, trust him. His skills with the camera and experience in the industry at the very least. He's kind and courteous, listening and following as I lead him around the house. A really nice fellow, and he treats our household staff well whenever I cross paths with them. I answer his questions to the best of my ability. He's patient enough to answer mine whenever I get curious enough. For one, I ask what the bags are for. They're quite the magician's toolkit. From inside, he had procured several items to embellish the interior with. Bowls of fruit, lemons, trays with pepper mills, stacks of cookbooks, cutting boards, and glass canisters filled with colorful nuts and grains are bought for a kitchen center setting. For the bathroom, there are white towels, seashells, and decorative soaps. There are other things in there as well, too numerous to count, all in that large backpack and suitcase.
Tricks of the trade. Softens up a room, makes a place feel more homey, and fills it up with texture. But you guys probably have better stuff I can use for this.
No lights. Don't tell me all of these are just props.
Well, I've got my tripod here. For things like these, natural light is best. I'll just have to set the shutter speed to a real slow setting, and as long as nobody steps into the shot, it'll look great.
He's gonna get a picture of the ghost, isn't he? That's what's gonna happen here.
Oh, it better.
We go through the rooms one at a time, although we first tackle the ones that the movers have no business in anymore. Ooh, the ballroom needs a little preparation with its grand design. Although, there is some trouble at first with the wide open space and the pictures being backlit. It's in the kitchen that Zachary's props come in handy, considering how much Johann's kept the place so neat and sterile. I swear I can read, I promise. One can practically eat off the floor. We carry on, touring the house and taking pictures while we can, with the exception to the rooms that have yet to gain any purpose or design. Too bad I can't take a sneak peek at his photos yet. Funnily enough, he's using a traditional camera. I didn't even know such filming still existed. With the way he speaks, however, I can see he knows well enough about his craft that I'm not too worried about botched photographs. I imagine photography must be cathartic for him, judging by how easy he looks while taking pictures. There are small snippets of conversation in between the clicking of his camera. He even goes so far as to talk about these terminologies like shutter speeds and aperture when I ask about the technical aspects. I can't quite see the picture as it's made, much like I watch artists paint on their canvas. But just watching someone passionately practicing their craft such as this is exciting in its own way. Going through the many rooms has been quite the exercise for both of us. Despite that, he's been so nice and I find myself putting on my best smile. But it is as we're taking pictures in the foyer that everything comes to a standstill for a moment. Just a moment. And had I not been paying attention, I wouldn't have even noticed. It's merely a split second when Zachary's rhythm is put to a halt. His finger doesn't even move to release the shutter. Yet he also doesn't pull the camera away from his face, his gaze still firmly fixed through the viewfinder. He sees it through... Oh no! His hands shake and there's a light sheen of sweat on his forehead.
Zachary?
No response.
Zach? Is something the matter?
Lowering his camera, he blinks and stares at something behind me before shaking his head. Turning around though, I see nothing that could have gotten his attention.
Oh, no, there's nothing wrong. I just remembered something, that's all. Let's get back to the pictures. Can you move a bit more to the left, yeah?
I struggle to respond this time. There's sudden weight on my back and an indescribable tightness around my throat. Gee, I wonder why. Everything stops. And everything starts again as I manage to choke out.
If you're sure.
I don't know what just happened. It was probably just a dizzy spell. I'm fine. And he said he's fine. We continue at the same pace as before, although there's an unspoken agreement that we will not talk about what just happened.
So, is this a full-time job for you then?
Nah, I just freelance mostly, for magazines, newspapers, and events. So you can't really call it a full-time job.
Zach didn't manually touch the letter. She can't see it, but he saw it through the viewfinder.
It's fun and it puts food on the table, but it's not what I really want to do. At least, not all the time.
What is it that you want to do then?
Maybe I've been out of line sticking my nose in other people's business, but I can't help but ask. I regret doing so as I see his shoulders slump, and the easygoing air he has fades away. He looks torn over whether he wants to talk about it or not.
Films, documentaries mostly. But cinematography is a lot more difficult than photography, right? I was working on this thing, actually.
What thing?
Well, it wasn't really a big thing. People didn't like Blue Fonzie very much.
People don't like a film about colors. I suppose they would have liked Blue Bibby a lot more.
Very funny.
So, Grand Director, do you want to tell me what Blue Fonzie is all about?
Sure. He hesitates. But when I refuse to budge on the matter, he gives in and spills it out. Bleu foncé, l'éclair, la plus sombre des noirs britanniques. I did not pronounce any of that right, and I apologize. Dark blue, the darkest hours of the Black British. He speaks with passion of one who's gone through the very matter he's concerned with. There's conviction, knowledge, and experience in his speech. Why, I would have told him that he's an amazing speaker if only I wasn't so engrossed listening. Prejudice and discrimination in schools and in the workplace. Lesser chances for opportunity and higher chances of being treated like a criminal. He spoke of blacks and people of color in general, still being treated like second-class citizens. All because of the color of their skin. It's all just positively riveting. And sad. It comes to the point wherein he soon loses steam. He looks abashed, realizing what he'd just done.
Sorry, I just got so carried away and...
It's fine. It is really so fascinating to watch people talk about their passion after all.
Yeah, that's the coolest thing.
You should see how your eyes light up when you speak so fiercely. You do have very beautiful eyes.
Oh no. This is no good.
Uh-huh. Thanks, I guess.
I want to say that I understand where he's coming from. But I really don't, do I? I was just born with a silver spoon in my mouth and I've lived a charmed life. It hasn't been perfect, but the difficulties I've been through pales in comparison to what others experience on a daily basis. I certainly don't know how I would have fared were it any different. Would I still have met Luke and would he still love me if I was any lesser?
What was your home like? These things you talk about, it sounds like you've... Well, I don't mean to pry, I mean.
Live with my older sister and my grandparents. We had a shop selling all sorts of things below our flat. And well, I was one of the few non-white, non-British students in class. I didn't get pushed around or anything straight up. Even then, I was one of the biggest kids around, but a pencil and notebook would go missing, you know?
Oh, that I knew. Children can be so cruel at times. Of course, it might be a slightly different story when you have personal guards and the stolen item's not a pencil, but an expensive heirloom.
So what about you? How you liking your new house? It's pretty impressive.
It's nice, I suppose.
You suppose? Not big enough?
What? No, oh, don't be a bully. It's just that...
I understand if you don't want to talk about it.
There was a little girl all dolled up and treated like fragile porcelain, with nursemaids waiting to me hand and foot. All the material possessions anyone could ever want, I could ask for on a whim and it would be handed to me just like that. But I barely saw my parents, just goodbye kisses in the morning before they were off to who knows where they were needed next. I saw them more often on the telly or in the papers than I ever did in person.
I remember my old house. It was a lot like this one. Big walls and big halls, but nobody in it. Not really. It makes you think how alone you are.
A pensive mood overcomes us. And there's a moment where neither of us are sure how to go on from here. Things have gotten too personal, yet it isn't wholly uncomfortable, like as if we've been friends forever.
Well, that's normal, ain't it? You just moved here. You'll make home out of it yet.
He certainly makes it easy to believe that. My childhood house is indeed a lot like this one. Just as large and extravagant, and just as empty. I hope he's right.
So, Monsieur le Photographe, you've covered the one and only Ermengarde Mansion.
You know, the thing is, she could probably invite all these losers and have a fun time.
What's next on the agenda?
The interview?
Boring. It's an interior design and housing magazine.
And they want to know what Miss Wright has to say about her interior design and house.
Hannah Wright thinks she bought a magnificent house that she can certainly brag about. Blah, blah. Boring. You know what they should print more of? I watched an interesting documentary the other day. Bleu Foncé, The Darkest Hours of the Black British. I recommend you watch it. Those are the things that people should know about.
You should really talk to Becca, you know that? I think you two would agree on this.
What do they care if I use a purple or green bowl of fruit in my kitchen?
People, right?
Oui. People are shite.
Never a truer word has been spoken by a fictional character.
What do you think? Do I look good with this angle?
I strike a pose while he's being busy, looking taken aback for a moment, probably not expecting me to just go and say such a crass word. But he recovers quickly, and after snapping a few shots, he grins.
Yeah, vous êtes belle. You want copies of these ones?
Yes, please. So, the big boy knows French. You must have wooed a few ladies. Unless you're into gents. Either way, French is, after all, the language of romance.
Indeed.
Oh, I don't know about quoting fancy poetry, but I've made lunch for a girl before, and they did like that fancy French cuisine.
Can you cook your best?
I can cook just about anything as long as I know the recipe.
So can anyone else, really.
C'est magnifique.
It's been too long since I've had a nice and proper chat with a good friend. No, Lee's certainly not a good friend. And although we've just met, Zachary's the sort who can probably befriend anyone. He's just a comfortable person to be around. A bit too comfortable. The seeds are planted. That sounds really wrong now that I think about it. We're just gonna ignore that. And somewhere along the way, as we laugh and talk, I find myself getting a bit too close without... Hannah! Don't do this! He'll give me this strange look until I back off, and he'll go back to asking questions after I agree to do his little interview. And it's just odd. Well, no. Me being friendly isn't that odd. That's how I am. Zachary's the one that's being odd. Why, anyone else would absolutely welcome the extra attention I give them. He, on the other hand, looks almost flustered about it. He should be used to different personalities by now, having to deal with various people when he works. And if not, he needs to start. Perhaps nobody has shown him attention of this kind, but he's a big boy. He should be able to handle me. Somehow I want the relationship between these two to go down. All it is a friendly touch here, a pretty smile there, and a gentle swaying of the hips as I move around. Zachary grew and grew more red every time he noticed. Am I being mean as I find enjoyment in seeing him unravel? Perhaps. This went on during the interview and beyond that. There's nothing wrong with what we're doing, right? Zachary and I are just having a playful, friendly chat while enjoying the outside view. At least that's how I see it.
I'm sorry, but I'm really getting distracted. Could you maybe stop doing that?
Stop? I'm not sure if I want to, though. Oh no. I want her to stop. But Okay, no. You gotta stop it, Hannah.
I'll stop if it makes you uncomfortable, sweetie.
Sorry.
No, I should be the one apologizing. Why, you're a shy one, aren't you, big guy?
It's not that, but...
He gestures to the ring on my finger and lets the fact of the matter hang heavily between us. Being told implicitly that I'm too forward is not a common occurrence. I think I'm more stunned at the fact that he pointed it out rather than, well, being rejected. Not that anything is going to happen between us in the first place. It was just going to be some harmless flirting, right?
So, you've never had a girlfriend?
No. No boyfriend either. You know, just in case you were gonna ask for that one next.
And you haven't even had your first kiss?
Not a one, ma'am.
Do you want to have your first kiss today?
I can't help it. I really, really can't. I'm going to have to apologize lots later. Surely, by the catty smile on my face, it's obvious that I'm just pulling his leg. The laugh I failed to contain certainly gives it away, if it still isn't obvious. But still, he lights up in embarrassment, stammering and stuttering objections.
You're married, and this will be extremely unprofessional.
I never said I would kiss you, silly. Oh, Johans!
Johans, my guy.
No, what? No, Don't call your butler. Sheesh, Hana.
That would be for the better. I don't think his husband would appreciate it if I made him kiss another man. I do not think he can hear us from here either.
Suddenly he just walks out from the closet. Hello, everyone.
But it is hard to think you're not taken, Zachary. Why, whoever becomes your girlfriend will be so lucky to have you. You can cook and take wonderful photographs. Wonderful meals and wonderful memories.
I can play guitar too.
You can? Oh my, wonderful serenades as well then. Perhaps I can find a young lady who deserves a fine, strapping young gentleman like yourself.
Let's not get carried away. Besides, I gotta be going. It's getting late and I got someplace else to be.
A shame. I will be expecting you again soon, I hope. For a copy of my photographs, yes?
Course, I'll even deliver them personally. Just, don't try to make me kiss your butler when I drop by.
As fate would have it, the very moment the words leave his mouth, Johannes comes out of the house. Judging by the slight raise of his brows, he's heard only the tail end of the sentence.
There shall be no kissing of any butlers under this roof. Danke.
Johannes, I fucking love you.
But you are not under a roof, are you, Hansi?
To my amusement, he takes a step back, safely placing him within the threshold of the foyer and under the roof of the house. And just as ever, he is quick to return with sardonic reply.
I am now. As I was saying, madam, it's about time for supper. Will I be needing to set an extra place at the table?
Oh, what? No, I was just leaving, actually. So, you have a good night, Hana. And you too, Hansi.
It was nice to meet you, Zach, honey. You have a safe trip.
He nods with a grin on his face as we say our goodbyes as the sweetest I've ever seen. Handlinger looking out for him with his relatively tiny bicycle, backpack safely secured in the basket in the front, and a suitcase hooked onto the back. I watch as he went down the path to Anselm Village until he's nothing more than a blip in the horizon. It cannot help the small smile on my face as I go inside for supper. That... I need to stop there. That was... Oh my god. That just... Zach. This guy. Zach? Okay, so my favorite characters so far. Zach, Marianne, and Johannes. Those three people better live through this entire game, or something is getting thrown. So thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. You have a good day. Goodbye.